Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Magical Human Show. There's been a gap in our services, our regular services, because both June and I have been engaged in other things, summer holidays, looking after grandchildren, and doing all kinds of fun things like that. And we're doing this a little early because I'm away at a conference all weekend, and we want to talk to you about what's happening because we're about to go into a new moon phase. Hello, June.
Hello, Claire. It feels like ages, and it hasn't really been. It's only been a few weeks, but time is doing a lot of weird stuff, absolutely weird stuff. And then, there's this ascension portal thing that's going on that I discovered that one of the meditations was today and another one on Thursday and one last week. But yeah, apparently something big is supposed to happen on Thursday. This is the 21st.
So the
But
21st.
I'm tired of holding my breath and waiting for these things. It's
I
like,
know. I'm just like I'm becoming slightly well, there's always something big going on. I'm just looking at the planets and my ephemeris now.
hmm,
And according to the planets, as far as I can tell, not really, no. I mean, everything looks like it's on the trajectory it's already on.
hmm.
But
No major changes. Yeah.
perhaps they're aligning or doing something like that.
I
I
think
don't
there
know.
is some alignment thing going
Oh,
on.
yeah, maybe.
Neptune. I think it's Neptune and Pluto,
Okay,
I
because
think.
Neptune and Pluto and what is it? Neptune, Saturn, and Pluto are all retrograded at the moment. They've been doing that for a while, since the beginning of this month,
Hmm.
and in some part towards the end of last month. So I'm not sure if that kind of is what you're referring to.
No, I don't know that that is. I think that's just something that's happening, but more solar flares and more earthquakes and more volcanoes, I think,
Well,
is
maybe it's a six
predicted.
planet parade. Mercury,
That's that.
Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are visible. So maybe
Yeah,
it's that. In the
yeah,
pre-dawn sky, could it be
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I think there is that coming.
That would do it.
Hmm.
Um, the pre-dawn, like, like Sirius, which is part of the Lion's Gate. So, I mean,
Hmm.
yes, there's a lot of stuff going on and go on.
Did we talk about Lions Gate, or was that part of what we missed
We
doing?
missed the
Hmm.
Lion's Gate,
And the
Holly.
meteors.
So we missed that collection of activity. That's the last one we were supposed to do that we couldn't do. But yes, that was a big portal and an opportunity for people to, and it's still open. It's closing soon to come into their own, well, personal power again. And the invitations just keep coming, and one day you'll accept them and go to your party. That's the way it is. It's like, that's like when you said, oh, there's another portal. It's like there is opportunities happening consistently. So if you miss the bus, still get a ticket, get on the next one because
Yeah,
it doesn't matter and there's no judgment around that. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not perhaps in the right place to catch a ride. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
mhm.
That makes a lot of sense. And I saw some meteors
When?
last week
Where?
because there was that window of when they were really going to be, many, many meteors all at once if you were out in the dark, somewhere away from light pollution. And I'm going, well, I'm not walking miles to the edge of York to try and get away from light pollution because, frankly, we've got loads of it. I mean, there's just nowhere nearby that isn't contaminated with light. So I just thought, I know what I'll do. I got my little deck chair out, got all my clothes on and my blanket. It was quite warm last Tuesday night. And then it was
So
less warm Wednesday night. But because I was going to be out there, I thought, I'll just go and sleep in the backyard. And there's a street light on my alleyway over that side. The moon was behind me. It was the full moon, well, it was waning moon at that point. And there was all the city of York lights over there. And I thought, well, I've got two chances. Either I'll see them or I won't. So I just lay there and I snuggled down and I was kind of dozing off. I kept peeking. And it was like about 11 to, 12 time-ish. That was when I went to start. And just before midnight, meteor went, "Wheat," and another one went, "Wheat." I went, thank you. That's all I wanted. I don't need millions. Two is plenty.
Wow. Did you go
It was
back in after
amazing.
that?
Yeah, so I went back inside and went to bed and I slept so soundly that night. So lovely. Maybe it was because I was away from my gadgets
And earthing at
and
the same time.
outside. Well, I haven't got I wasn't earthing. I was on my lounger with my feet up in the air. And I haven't got grass out there. I'm not on the actual earth, but I was breathing relatively fresh air and, just connecting to the planets and the
Fantastic.
stars and
Fantastic. Well, I
yeah,
didn't see
made two
those.
wishes, pretty much the same.
You have to let us know if they come true.
Peace in here, peace out there.
Well, that's a beautiful balanced wish, for we are both divine and human. So, yeah, you were reminding yourself of the magic of the so above while you rested in the so below.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
It felt lovely. It really did. And it's really amazing how many people were like, oh, that's incredible. I didn't think that many people would care, but I was so excited. I saw two meteors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
lovely. I really do. Well, it's a nice reminder that space isn't just a flat kind of backdrop to kind of our visions here on Earth, that the fact that things are going around and happening, and when the sun goes down, we can see it.
Hmm. It's not a painted screen, as some people
That's
would have you believe.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, now we've got coming up the new moon in Hazel, which is on Sunday the 24th, and on the 23rd the sun goes into Virgo.
Mm,
So we've got this kind of new energy of hazel coming up as holly slowly wanes down. And so what we can expect from hazel is, well, we think of divining rods, which are often made out of hazel,
mm,
is the ability to sharpen our intuition into ourselves to divine how we feel about things. And this is a good time for journaling and manifestation, grounding, manifestation. So, white candles, green candles are the intentions for new moon. So, we invite you to put some ceremony around your new moon aspirations for the following month. What do you think of hazel, June? Do you like hazel?
love it. I love it. I love hazelnuts. And also, I got myself three giant candles that are like this big, a red one, a green one, and a white one. And my friend Helen said, "Oh, Christmas." I said, "Yeah, but no, moons,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
moon, sun, and earth." Yeah. So I'm using those. They're on a tray, and I move them around depending on whether it's full moon, new moon, or somewhere in between. But that's true. We missed holly, didn't we? We ought to mention holly because it's one of my favorite flower essences. And it's to do with the universal principle of love.
Mm.
So important. And if you look at what's going on in the world right now, there's this massive upsurge of love and compassion going on. People are breaking down barriers between them, no matter how hard some entities are trying to divide us and make us hate each other. There's just people are going, no, sod off. I have a heart. I care about my fellow human beings. And I just love what's happening in that regard. It's incredible. I cried buckets of tears when I saw 300,000 people demonstrating in Sydney in support of the Palestinians. I mean, I just thought they were all shades, all hues, all everything, all together with their little umbrellas, big umbrellas in the rain. That's the size of the whole of York and then some on
Beautiful.
Sydney Harbour Bridge. And it was just phenomenal. And it just keeps going on. And there in the middle of winter, I kept saying, well, it's all right demonstrating in the summer, but what are people going to do when it comes to the winter? Well, by the time winter comes, there might not be anything left. But we hold out hope that
We do, and that's probably Jupiter and Cancer's influence, the expanded consciousness around the heart and the home and
mm,
family and community.
mm,
That's probably what's going on.
mm,
That energy is giving an energy of kind of love. And Venus is in Cancer as well. So the planet of love is in Cancer, which is the heart, the number four chakra rulership.
yeah,
It's like the heart, the love, all of that kind of stuff. So that
yeah,
doesn't surprise me at all.
yeah,
Wasn't aware of that, but I, yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult because I'm just about to go up to the What's the Truth Festival, which is up in the Lake Districts this weekend. Bank
Oh, in
holiday.
Cumbria, I know a
Yeah.
couple of people who are going to that. Yeah,
Oh, if only you were. I'm going to be speaking,
yeah,
and I've been writing what I'm going to say, and I was thinking about what I'm going to say, which obviously takes a little bit of thinking about and what is my message for this moment? And my message is that it's great to know the truth. It's important to know the truth, but it's also important to manage your reaction to the truth and to look after yourself when the feelings inevitably come of feeling like so desperately upset that you can't do much about horrifying circumstances like the
mm,
Palestinian situation.
yeah,
You can send your love to it and you can send your compassion and you can be aware of it and make choices that you have the opportunity to influence in your own life to try and make that a better situation. But what you would be best not doing is getting the vibrations of the misery, the fear, the anger, because that is easier for the powers of that are to harvest
yeah,
and take your power.
yeah.
So keep your power
If
is
you're stuck in despair, then you've gone into too much of the darkness. You've got to kind of keep one eye. I had a visitor yesterday, and we were talking about this one eye on it, but yourself in the light. You've
yes.
got to stay bringing the light to shine on the darkness so other people can see it. But I randomly met a person who works for the council here in the alleyway today. And we had the most wonderful conversation about the spraying that we neither of us liked. And he's totally on our side with all the stuff we're growing in the alleyway. And he's going around helping to collect the fly tipping that we do keep finding happens there. And it was just such a lovely, heartwarming conversation. It was amazing. And so I think that's the key thing for me. I keep reminding myself and everybody I speak to that you've got to look for those moments of
Yeah.
connection and the moments of feeling you're not just talking to people who agree with you, because that's lovely. That warms your heart. You're not the only crazy
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
person
Yeah. Yeah.
around. But he said, sometimes I can feel like I'm the only crazy person. I said, well, now you've just met another crazy person. So there you go. It's all good.
It's true. I've had lots of conversations, like you just said, random conversations recently with people that are completely on the same page that I would never have imagined would be on the same page and are completely and utterly conscious. And that's been a real surprise. And a lot of conversations about cash and the need
Mhm,
to maintain a cash economy
mhm,
and not to go completely digital, which is what these modern currencies are like inviting us to do, because that creates the blockchains, which leads to another level of accountability and all that kind of stuff. It's like how you retain a sense of sovereignty is by maintaining cash and bartering so that
mhm.
you are not completely and utterly quantified into some algorithm somewhere. It's like
Yeah.
and also someone was saying about the digital, they're using the immigration crisis to justify the introduction of the digital IDs.
Hmm.
It's like
Yep.
you don't need to allow these people to come into this country in this way. I'm sorry. And then using that as a kind of way to justify the means of this digital, it's all this kind of digitalization, which, as we proved time and time, well, Spain proved when it went into blackout for 3 days, that
Mhm,
basically it doesn't make for things running smoothly at all because computers are constantly glitching and causing problems and losing data or allowing people to hack them and
mhm,
access data. So there's a real kind of feeling that people are being coerced by their governments. I was having conversations when I was away in Gozo with people about this,
right.
coerced into, you know, not using cash. And it's just like, but
Yeah.
preferring cash. And I'm just like, of course, who doesn't? Ugh.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that people sound very similar in some ways about this to when they were being encouraged to take a medication that they didn't really
And all
want
of
to
these people I've
take.
been speaking to
I didn't want
haven't
to do
taken that.
it, but, and I'm going, okay, just hold on a minute. You don't have to do anything. Think about what's best for you. Make a conscious choice, not based on feeling like that choice that they're dangling in front of you is going to make your life easier, because it's highly unlikely that it will.
But it's not only that, have some real idea of the future. The consequences for the immediate gratification will not protect your future. And that
Exactly.
is the thing. It's like people becoming morally accountable for
Mm,
their instant gratification decisions. And
mm,
I'm just like, come on, people.
mhm,
You've got to
mhm,
kind of say no.
mm. Yes, yes, there is always a choice. And if you make a choice to go along with things, then you accept the consequences. If you would like a different kind of future, then it's going to be tricky a little bit and a bit sticky and a little bit uncomfortable at first, but it's like giving birth. It's all that. We're giving birth to ourselves. I keep saying this to people. We're
Mm.
giving birth to ourselves. People are getting symptoms, their ailments, and gradually, I feel, person by person, I'm helping them to see it from a different way, that their ailments are coming from the inside, not being forced on them from outside by some evil germ or virus. There's toxins out there for sure, but mostly our bodies are reacting to those. It's not that they carry an illness,
Oh,
it's that we react. Yeah.
I'm 100 with you, and 100% that means. And what I was thinking the other day was I was thinking that because I had a situation in my family where my niece had come to stay and she'd brought with her a cold. And when I told my mother, she was freaking out, saying, "Oh my God, are you going to bring like COVID to my door? And like everyone's, all your aged aunts and uncles are visiting, and you're going to wipe out the family." And I was like, whoa. I said, for a start, all flu va variants are called COVID. You're talking about strain number 19. And no, she doesn't have that. Oh, how do you know? And I was like, well, she doesn't have any of the symptoms and she's just run down and got a cold. Anyway, it did set off this kind of, chain reaction. But
Mm.
there. And then I was thinking, that doesn't make any sense. They've all been vaxxed to the max. And then I was thinking about that even more. And I was thinking, well, actually, what happens is the fact that when you've been vaxxed to the max, it's compromised your immune system so much that your body doesn't respond properly to the infection, any disease that it creates to detox. So
Mhm.
flu, etc., detoxes. It's
Mhm.
like your body's
Mhm. It's
response is
trying its
like
best.
what you're saying, it's like we
It
get
gets
out, we get
stuck.
rid of the snot,
Yeah.
sweat, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You have all these things that stop that process going on. No wonder everyone's getting significant ailments, cancer,
Hmm.
etc.,
Yeah.
because the system of getting rid of the shedding
It's
isn't
stuck. It can't
stuck.
it
It
can't
can't do
move
it.
forward. Yeah, it's like trying to clear, but things are getting stuck. What we talk about in Chinese medicine is the things getting stuck in the exterior energy. And I was talking to a young woman the other day about this, trying to explain, because she was feeling really, really poorly, but she's also feeling very vulnerable to energies of other people as well. And she can really feel that. So I said, well, okay, we can do the figure eights, we can do the allergy tapping. We can do that. And then you have something that you can do that helps your body stay a little bit in your own bubble and that other people's energies aren't intruding on you because we may not I don't know what to say on here because I just
Say
don't
it.
know what's going to happen, but we shall see. My view is that we don't pick up the germs from other people. We have our own
The terrain.
viruses and our own germs that are part of our cleansing process, but they get stuck midway on their way out because of all the other stuff that our bodies are trying to cope with. And it can't do so much. So when someone is really low in energy, you can't do a detox because what happens is they haven't got the energy to throw it off properly. That's on an energetic level,
And
not
that's
a
when they
physical
stay in that
level.
middle zone where they're just constantly ill, constantly fatigued,
Mhm.
can't recover. It's like because I haven't got the energy to go that final hog. And what you just
Exactly.
said was super interesting about the Chinese, suggesting it happens in the kind of outer reaches. Because if you're empathic and psychic and you're going to suck up everyone's energy, that could be why your system keeps getting hit after hit after hit, maybe. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, yes,
The stronger you become psychically and the more sovereign you become, the less you are likely to be able to be affected
yes.
by other people's ailments. It depends how deep your empathy runs.
Well, and it depends on what the other balance in your
Your system, yeah, because if you
makeup
already got
is, you
toxic
know.
anyway, then it's just
Mm.
going to be like tox, double tox.
Double
Going to
time.
respond to your toxicity, and then you're going to get ill because you're trying to shed off the
Mm.
stuff that's inside you. And then yeah, I know what
Well,
I,
yeah, and we absolutely do not want to be clearing our stuff all over somebody else. It works both ways. You
yes.
know, we're permeable membranes between each other. And if we're busy detoxing, we probably do need to protect other people from that too.
But you
It
would do
works both
that.
ways. Yeah.
People don't do that because they've been encouraged. If the rat race is, like it doesn't matter what's wrong with you, you can carry on working. And it's like, no, if you know something's wrong with you, don't go into the office and breathe all over everybody else. Just stay where you are because you're going to wipe out other people who are also needing to detox but haven't perhaps
Mm.
prepared for it. Such an interesting,
Well, yeah, but so many people are working from home now. So what are we
they're
thinking?
trying to draw them back into the offices, June.
It's people, well, that's fine. People are connected, whether they're actually in the same physical
Oh,
location or not. This
that's
is
it.
the point. The energy between people is still doing whatever it's doing.
I
That's
can
how we can send distant healing and love across thousands of miles.
That's true, because if someone tells me that I care about that they're ill, I can almost get the symptoms,
Mm,
psychosomatic. And it's because there's a response of me going, your favorite person's decided to detox right now. Why don't you have one too?
hmm.
So interesting. The
It's
other
so
thing, it
interesting.
is fascinating. The other thing that's been really yanking my chain is vaping, because I've had to
Oh,
stop some people vaping, as in help them with hypnotherapy and smoking. And the difference between smoking and vaping, as I can understand it, is the fact that smoking, people may have an addiction and it's horrible and it smells and they might do it, X amount of times a day. But vaping, people are literally rolling over in bed before they've even got out, vaping all day long without a consciousness about what they're doing, and vaping after they've brushed their teeth and before the last thing at night. And the vapes
no.
are like supposed to be like, oh, 12 packets of cigarettes for a big vape, like the equivalent.
Oh
And
no, really?
it's so toxic
Oh,
and the addiction levels. And I wrote a post on it today, and someone wrote back to me and went, "Oh, well, look, here's this huge study of why vaping's better than smoking." And I said, "I'm not even going to read that. Who sponsored that study? And why are we arguing about the lesser of two toxins?" It's like,
no, don't care.
oh, and it's the
Don't do
frequency.
either of them.
Exactly. But again, it's this kind of, the shutting because the lungs, emotion, freedom, air. It's like Gemini. It's related to your thoughts, your lungs,
And
expansion,
grief. And
and
grief.
grief and trapped emotion. The deeper levels are ruled by Cancer. So
Mm,
family stuff is in the bottom layers of the
hmm
lungs. And
hmm
so why are we basically smoking our way through or vaping our way through this process of toxifying what then goes into the bloodstream, which then goes around the body. It's just like, what are you doing? So
Numbing out is what people are doing. It's like what people do with food. They suppress their feelings and they bury them with, the bodily processes. The body's so hard working to deal with those toxins in the food and in the water and in the air that we're breathing, never mind the stuff that people are putting in
I
on top
know.
of what's in the air. So, I think yes, and it is about not wanting to feel the sadness because in a way we're lamenting. I hear so many people lamenting the loss of the old ways, but I don't think they're talking about the old ways that you and I are talking
Like
about.
they're coming back. What?
Yeah, no, it's they want the 1950s back. They
Yeah.
don't want the ancient wisdom back because they've long cut themselves off from that. But there is this sadness for what was, and they
Well, and
don't
we're
like
more
what is, and they can't see what's coming. That could be so much better. If we can visualize what we want to see happening,
make it
we
happen.
can make it happen.
I know.
Absolutely.
The link between visualization and materialization, the alchemy of that is, evident all around us. And
Yeah.
that's why when you were hearing things about Palestine and other human atrocities that are happening around the world, envisaging those places being well, functioning well, is the best place to put energy. It's like, I'm not going to listen to what you're telling me is going on. I'm just going to see it with blue skies and happy people. And people go, well, that's very naive. It's not naive at all. That's how we make.
Well, it depends on whether you think naive is a bad thing. You
True.
know, it's all about interpretation.
It
And
really,
being naive is a kind of innocence. And don't we all want to be like children and
well, we do.
innocent
I was
and
just thinking,
opening our hearts to the possibilities? If
that
we're all cynical, where that means our hearts are shut down.
And that's interesting in relation to what you're saying about the 1950s, because that's almost this return to innocence, where
Well,
people
mm,
had better manners, people were much easier to control because they just went along with a narrative. There were also a lot less people. Things had
mm,
people had pride in being British, people had pride in making things. We had a completely different economy and culture going
mm,
on then that we have
mm,
now.
mm.
But what we have now,
Although, from my point of view, I would say that pride was quite misplaced.
I know, that's what I was about to say. What
But
we've got now is we've got our freedom, we choose our families, we choose our communities, and we can
mm,
repaint the future in the colors that we feel
yes.
collectively are best, as opposed to being so prescribed, living the Truman Show life.
Well, exactly. And this pride in the colonial era, I mean, honestly, I can't be proud of that. I've
Oh, I
seen
have
too
mixed
much,
views on that.
too much of the consequences of this. My grandfather was in Palestine in 1948, and
Wow.
I've been chewing myself up with the ancestral karma of that one. Because I looked into my
I know.
mother's side of the family, but this is my dad's dad. And yeah, and I was like that for quite a few months. And then I got my friend to look into the Akashic records. Now, I can't help but feel sometimes she likes to put her own lovely, gentle spin on things. And she's not a person who's very good at looking at the dark side of stuff because she very much wants to look at the positive side of things. But she gave me another perspective. She said he was put in charge of protecting some sacred sites. So that's another side of the British Army that one doesn't normally see. And in fact, there were, as you probably know, um, a previous Israeli president or prime minister, whatever it is, was labeled a terrorist. He was part of that group that did a lot of sabotage of the British rule in 1948. They were fighting the British just as much as the Palestinians were. And it was they were going around destroying things, you know. I mean, they blew up the King David Hotel, you
It,
know, and it's like all this stuff that went on. But what I was concerned about was that, am I supposed to be doing something to atone for his part in that? There were several massacres went on in that time, all that kind of stuff. But he said to my friend, and I have no reason to doubt her really, he said, "My hands are clean." Well, he maybe didn't actually physically participate in shooting and killing people. Thank God. But he was still part of the machine that was responsible for making this situation much worse than it already was anyway. So yeah, it's an interesting situation, but protecting the sacred sites, I want to go back to that because there are sacred sites everywhere, and none more so, I would maybe argue right now, than the ones in that part of the world, because so many people trace their religious affiliations to back to that spot. It's incredible.
yeah, it's supposed to be one of the main earth chakras. But what I'd say about your grandfather, when you said that, what came up for me was just people did the best job that they could do at the time. It was like he was involved in something that he probably had the right intentions for. No one knew what the real thing, perhaps the real story of what was going on, or what the consequences of that outcome would be at that point. So
Mm,
it's like, I hear you on all levels, but it's like we have to trust that, yeah, they did the best job they could at the time. And I certainly have a colonialist background on my mother's side, and they did great things. So I think it depends on your viewpoint. I happen to think Christianity is, as you probably know, did more damage than anything else, going around all these native tribes around the world and telling them they were stupid and they
mm,
to get with the program and throw
mm.
away all their deities and start
Cut
worshiping
your hair, wear
one God.
Western clothes,
Exactly, and
all of
start
that.
having the women in the background and all this kind of stuff. So
Mm, mm,
I don't have a problem with colonialism. I think it was part of, and always has been part of, the development of the world where people migrate and then they try and take over and they mix in and all this kind of stuff and then they adopt and it all becomes a big melting pot. So but I think this generation, last
mm.
20, 30 years, we've done a great job in beating ourselves up for things that have been atrocities and things that have been done year in, year out, generation in, generation out. And I just think, come on, value of this is
Mm.
like,
We can self-flagellate forever.
that's
And
what
and
I mean.
we weren't, I don't think we were there. I mean, it depends on how many incarnations we feel we've gone through, and if we know we were there at some point somewhere. But people have been horrendous to each other around the world. There is nowhere that I know of that is completely harmonious.
And with a history that's completely free from harm. Just there,
Mm, mm,
although maybe Switzerland more recently for its neutrality that it takes on. But yeah,
well,
it's just, I think everybody plays everybody. Good person, bad person,
mm,
poor person, everything.
mm,
I think we
mm,
try out every permeation.
mm.
And I think that, well, that's because I believe this, we're eternal and that, we're all there to learn as much as we possibly can from the experience we have in human incarnation. So,
Yeah. And we have to recognize that there's no other who is the archetypal evil person, and we're not the archetypal good
yes,
person.
with the
It's a
balance.
spectrum. I was
Yes.
saying to my friend, it's like the autistic spectrum. We're all on the evil spectrum. You know, it's quite hard to come to terms with that because we'd like to
Oh,
blame
that's
other
because we've
people, and
been.
or we blame ourselves, and
But
then
that's
we
our
beat
culture,
ourselves up.
June. That is the
Mm,
culture of the Christianity. That is
mm,
turn towards the light, be in the light, turn the other cheek. Don't allow yourself to have any dark feelings because you need to be in the light, be in the light, and all this shadow stuff has been ignored and hidden, and the shadow feelings. And that's what we're
Mm,
coming back from, is all that distortion, which
mm,
has allowed people to get away with things because there's been no personal accountability. You can just keep handing it out to the church. Make me clean again. And
mm,
you look at the likes of Savile, who was supposed to be an incredibly, I know, but he was so religious. There he
mhm.
was, thinking he could literally get away with murder and then just go and confess his sins and he would be wiped clean. And he did that his whole life. He thought that he could strike that balance. And I think there's many people that have done that.
I know. I know. Yeah. And nobody, if you take a tiny baby, I personally don't believe that any baby is born evil. I
No,
think, I think everybody comes into this world ready to learn, ready to experience things, and it's possible that they have a preordained path to instigate stuff, and it appears evil. Oh, I don't want to let them off the hook though.
I don't know because I don't think people do get off the hook. And I do think people have a greater or lesser propensity, depending on the environment they're born into and the family line they're born into, as to what's going to happen. Because I believe in epigenetics, so therefore genetic memory. So,
Mm.
that's how things can carry on. Did you see that program on BBC? I think it was called, I can't remember what it was called, about incest in the family,
Oh, oh no, I did not, but there is a famous family where there's a quote like that.
which is
Incest is best. And they said
keep
we
it in the
keep it
family.
in the family. Yeah, yeah.
Well, they've done a Anna
Yeah.
Friel is in it. They've done a
Oh.
some other pe famous people. It's not a true story, but it's just talking about incest in the family and how it kind of can easily happen. And it invites you to think of it in different kind of ways. But that just again is this kind of, that culture passing on down something evil. And some people will respond and take it forward, and other people just naturally will stop a cycle and go, enough already. And I think that we just have to think about ourselves and who we are and hold accountability to ourselves and what we can live with. And, those people will do what they do. But my point was, when they leave, I do
Mm.
believe that we become fully accountable for all the mistakes we've made, all the people we've hurt. I think there's a reckoning, and
Yeah.
the soul is completely cleansed, and you go back to being this neutral, higher vibrational light.
Yeah, which is maybe what the Catholic confessional is simulating, is that, it's like, well, look, we'll do it in small increments so you don't have to do it all when you get to the end.
But it doesn't work. But what did that
No, of
just let
course it
people
doesn't.
off? It's like, I'm
Of
just going to
course
do
it
this.
doesn't. Yeah.
And then there's the corrupt person listening. Wow.
Yeah.
We, this episode.
Have we gone on?
No, well, yeah,
So
we have.
we're
We
okay.
have gone on. We're on 43 minutes, but
Yeah. Okay.
or maybe just slightly less, but we've covered some quite controversial things in this episode. So
We have.
I just
Maybe
like to say,
let people stop and digest it.
yes, and these are our personal opinions. The information in this film is not set to direct your train of thought. It's just to provoke thinking. That's all we're asking for. And, all we can do is speak our truths and the way in which we find them. So
At this moment in
at
time,
this moment in
we
time,
can change our minds.
by next week,
Yeah,
next time
maybe.
we see you, by the full moon, we might be completely different. Um,
Will we recognize each other?
Probably
You never know.
yes.
Oh, can I just tell you one really weird thing that happened
Yes.
in this last few weeks? I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, went into the bathroom for a quick pee, came back out, didn't do any faffing, no looking at the phone, nothing. And it was 6:45. So where was I for those 45 minutes? I'm
Mm.
still pondering this.
June went into one of her own portals
Maybe,
to a parallel life and had a lot of
maybe
it.
I'm still there. Who knows? Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's why it's important in the mornings to always bring yourself back. And I like to bring myself back by tapping my body and coming back to
yes.
my body every morning. And this is good for bone development and supporting your immune system. Just bring yourself back in. because
Yes.
when we astrally project, God knows where we've been.
I
So,
was on a pilgrimage last night in Korea. So
wow, you get good dreams. I've had
yes,
very
I do.
vivid dreams, but
I
they're
was
not
trying to
always
tell
good.
people to make sure they grounded before they climbed the mountain. But
Amazing.
climbing a mountain is very grounding, I suppose. I don't know. It was very odd.
No, because they're going up into air. So
That's true.
yeah, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, we hope you've enjoyed our
Okay.
latest edition. Good luck with the new moon. Good luck with your life. And we will see you hopefully very, very soon.
See you next time.